like a Palestinian, do you just mean don't be Arab?
Pretty much, yeah, Israel.
What do they think about Syrians?
Syrians are white.
No, but I'm pretty...
They're
knowing
class
Israel...
wars. Real quick,
So-
like, I don't want to debate on this, I just want a quick... Are you a Zionist or no?
Oh yeah, I am.
Oh no.
Hell yeah.
It's different than you think, probably. Yeah, but yeah. It's different than you think, I'll say.
Do you want to, like, chuck out your opinion then? Like, I don't want to fight, I'm
um,
literally just interested.
Oh yeah.
I have
so
to preface
believe...
this because otherwise people get really mad and they like defend your questioning, and it's like I just wanted to know things.
Yeah, so I support the right to self-determination for both the Jewish and the Palestinian people. I support a two-state solution in which probably a DMZ would probably be the best way to do it. You have like a demilitarized zone between the borders. We decide between Israel and Palestine. The 1967 borders seem to be the most like kind of mentioned and accepted like fair borders for the two states to have. I think Israel ought to pay reparations to Palestine, and then Palestine also needs like a fuck ton of like humanitarian aid from like the EU and like America and Saudi Arabia and all that shit.
I hate to interrupt, but she's using sneaky nationalist tactics on you. The conversation's now about Jews instead of about actual nationalism.
Like I literally started the Jew conversation.
Moss is acting in bad faith.
I'm the Jake Ewer here.
Wait, it's okay. It caused a lot of pleasure, okay? That Vox is acting.
What are you guys even talking about?
Alright, so
Look, you've been memed upon.
Should we talk slowly?
Alright, so we're gonna talk about black nationalism and what it actually means. So basically, the rumor versus reality is what we're gonna do. So I want Blah to take the reins on this. Blah, you're still here?
Yes, I am still here.
Alright. Blah, do you have any questions that you want to ask before we start?
Oh, do you love white people?
Well,
I mean, that,
Wait, no? Wait, I have a question.
Wait.
What's the black nationalist's name?
Aisha.
Aisha.
Oh, sorry, Aisha.
Do you think I'm white?
Do I think you're white?
Do you think I'm white?
No, because race is a concept that we design. So when Jewish people came to America, first they were a nation, and when they came to America specifically, they didn't really know what to call themselves, so they settled on the word race. And if Jewish people want to consider themselves a race, then they are, because historically they have been treated as other to white people. So they are only white when it fits the white supremacist narrative, so they can choose to be whatever they please. Just like how Arabs are not white.
Is this the same for Irish and Italians as well?
I have a second question. If I'm not white, does that mean I can say the N-word?
Wait, time out. Simple. Wait,
No,
that's a tricky Jewish trick. All right, he was able to get two questions instead of one. All right, this is bargaining tactics.
No, because you're not black. Just because you're not white doesn't mean that anti-blackness doesn't exist all over the world.
Aisha, do you have any questions for Blah before we start?
No. Also, quick question. If you guys are going to be asking me things, please be serious, because I normally don't talk about politics outside of school, and I don't want to waste time with the conversations.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Really, I could be having conversations about other things. I normally don't like speaking about politics outside of work.
Understood.
Sure, but yeah, but we want to like have educated opinions, and we need to discuss like opinions.
James,
I'm gonna ask the entire chat. I'm gonna ask the entire chat to like try to hold their tongues while Blah and Aisha talk. I will act as a semi-moderator during this debate. So,
why is this a debate?
I won't really talk.
Has questions, right?
Yeah, but you know, it's Blah. It's Blah though.
They know me. What?
Wait, just letting you know, this isn't a debate. You have questions. I'm just gonna answer them.
Okay, good. So, Blah, do you want to take it away?
Sure. So first of all, what do you mean by black nationalism, if that is what you identify with?
Black nationalism, I mean it in the simplest terms of the creation and formation of the Black nationalist movement. So it would be from the historical standpoint of Black people wanting to empower and embrace their Blackness and make sure that those people who are Black, who live in their communities, understand that Blackness is not a horrible thing or something that you should look down on. It's simply something that you you were born into this world Black, you might as well keep your chin up and understand the fact that just because all these people want you to be different, you are proud just the way you are. It's helping and uplifting Black people, whether it be in a community, a nation, or a small sense of just helping one individual.
Okay, so when you say Black nationalism, you don't refer to Garveyism or anything that involves Pan-Africanism. Just empowering Black
I do believe in
communities.
Well, I do believe in Pan-Africanism in the sense of I don't think that Africa should have these borders set on them that were forced by colonizers. I think that if they decide to change their borders or have a UA or any type of, or UN, any type of union that they decide to do should be Africa and Africa alone's decision. I don't think anyone else should have a say in it, and I do agree in the um, I do advocate for Africa getting its own independence away from people staging, whether it's coups, revolutions of any sort, or trying to take away the power that the African people have in themselves. So whether that be someone like an evangelicalist who's trying to spread their religion to basically do whatever they want in another country, or America deciding to stage a coup on a democratically elected leader. So if the African people want to have a Pan-African nation, then that is their choice, and that's something that they should be able to do without anyone else interrupting, so long as they are not infringing on any other individual's right.
Okay, so and just to confirm here, because I have heard a lot of Pan-African people sort of be like the racial segregationist type. You don't believe that like all Black people should move to Africa, correct?
I think that Black people should do whatever the hell they want. If you want to live in Africa, good
Okay.
on you. If you want to live in Europe, good for you. I don't care.
Okay, then it seems like we don't really disagree. Thanks,
So what do you
Vox.
think Black nationalism is?
Oh,
Are you basing this off of, quick question, I don't mean to offend you when I ask this, do you get most of your political beliefs off of YouTube videos and layman's, or do you get them through research?
half and half.
From what?
Research.
Half and half. Like half from YouTube videos, half from research.
Do you base anything of significance on those YouTube videos, or do you understand that this is someone else's opinion and that's all?
Oh, it really depends on the YouTube videos, and how well sourced they are. Like if they provide very little sourcing, or if they just offhandedly remark at being sourced, then you just take it, oh, this is this person's opinion, and I'm not sure if this is true or not. But if they do show sources, and those sources do agree with them, then I will take them as a source.
So you take them as a source. What do you mean by that? Like you would use them, say if you were doing a research paper, would you quote them, or would you just take them as like a...
I mean that whatever ideas they present, I take those ideas as being true.
Okay. And do you...
Do I
So what do you base your ideas on Black nationalism on?
Oh, I mainly base them off of the whole Varsh drama, and that Black nationalism doesn't have like a really concrete definition, and that a lot of people mean very different things by Black nationalism. So before I even get to a discussion, I ask someone.
So you base it off of the person who had his girlfriend go into other people's servers and lie about people?
What does that have to do with anything?
Not girlfriend, it's his. I don't know.
Hyena is not his girlfriend, or she is his girlfriend?
I
She is,
She's
but
his
what does this
girlfriend.
have to do with anything?
Wait, it wasn't
Basically, it has to do with it a lot because the entire Vosh black nationalist thing comes from his girlfriend getting into a fight with a black nationalist and then
Oh, yeah.
deciding that black nationalism was a separatist group when the person that he had the conversation with multiple times told him that she was not a separatist.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it actually has a lot to do with it, which is
With
why I
her
ask you
activism.
on why if you get your ideas on black nationalists on YouTube or through actual definitions, because YouTube people have a tendency to have their own biases in everything that they do. So Vosh has his own bias, which is very apparent and obvious in his videos. So I don't think Vosh should be someone that you take with any grain of salt when it comes to any movement, really.
Sure,
Yeah.
I heavily disagree, but when it comes to black nationalism specifically, what I said right after, I took this from Vosh, I said, what I take from this is that black nationalism is something that is really hard to actually define, and that a lot of people mean very different things when they say black nationalism. Some people mean
Well, not
Pan-Africanism, and
necessarily, because not necessarily, because if you actually take if you look into most people will tell you, just like how there are people who say they are leftists. Leftist is a broad term. Black nationalism is a broad term.
yes.
So you can be a black nationalist, but then if someone starts to say things about Pan-Africanism, then they clearly are a Pan-Africanist. If someone tells you that they are a believe in the separation of races, then they are clearly a black separatist.
Well,
So
sure,
someone
but
can
those things
state
can
that
be
they're
rolled into one.
Well, that's like saying if someone is a leftist, now they believe in Marxist-Leninism.
No,
There are different
no.
types.
Yes,
Like,
that's why I ask every time that I'm in a conversation with a black
yeah,
nationalist.
so my question is, instead of, how about you take the term black nationalist the same way you take leftist, where it would be, okay, this is just a broad term for a
That's what I
group
do.
of black people.
Yeah.
Well, then I don't understand what's the. So my question is like, what does? Because the Vosh thingy was just him assuming things, and then him
Sure.
speaking to the person, but then
Yes.
outrightly ignoring the person. So my question is like, why bring up Vosh? Because I'm just confused on why bringing up such a bad example.
Because
That's
you
weird.
asked me, oh hey, where do you base your ideas of black nationalism from?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
And
said
is there
that.
anything else that? Yeah, and I'm asking if there's anything else you base it off of, or is it just the Vosh video?
Well, it's mainly the Vosh video. It doesn't seem important enough to actually do any more research than that. Seems I could spend my time like on economics more than that.
Okay. All right. I don't. Do you want me to give you easy research? I can.
I mean, sure, I can add it to my reading list.
Can you compel me to want to learn about black nationalism?
What do you mean, can I compel you?
Yeah, do you have like any good reasons why I should?
Well, if you care about human rights in any way, that's really all I can say. You can't really compel people in any way to do anything. It's simply you just make your ideas known. And if someone is interested, because when it comes to things like human rights and say like human rights, animal rights, any of that stuff, it really is something that depends on the person. Because if someone like say I'm not saying you are, but say you were a white supremacist, the only way you're going to change your mind is if you yourself decide to look into something, or if you decide to see that group of people as worthy to look into. So there's really nothing I can tell you, because like people base their experience, like people base everything on their experience and their bias. So if you come into the conversation thinking you don't want to learn anything about Black nationalism, then I can't really do anything about it. I can only hope to tell you what I have and show you what I have. But if you don't care, you don't care. That's why I say like, I'll
Maybe
give
you
you,
can convince people, no?
well, no, not necessarily, not necessarily. So I can give you what I have, but I'm not gonna spend my time trying to convince someone to believe in like Black Lives Matter or something. Because if you don't want to believe in it, that's something that you have to deal with yourself.
Don't you think you should? Don't you think you should probably have like a little stump speech? Like if someone asks me why should I want to look? Well, can I finish my? You said a lot of words, and I took an issue with a lot of it. So like when you if like you ask me why should I care about like labor movements, or why should I like want to learn more about like anarchism or something, I'll give you reasons. I'll try to compel you why you should like look into this stuff more. I have little stump speeches about these things. I can tell you, okay, so I do care about human rights. I'm an anarchist. I want to I want to stop like oppressive systems. Why should I specifically learn about specifically Black nationalism?
Okay, so when I tell you, like Vox said themselves, I ask people if they want to learn more about it. I'm giving you research, I'm giving you studies. I can't force you because most of Black nationalism is looking into those studies. When you look into things like the disenfranchisement of Black people, when it comes to the police system, when it comes to the school system, that's all stuff that you would have to look into with research. I'm not going to sit here and butcher data or anything that has to do with that. I give you the sources if you want to. That's what it depends on want. I'm not going to trust myself enough to sit here and relay to you everything that I could give you simply. That is someone's
I never
reason.
asked you to do any of that. I never asked you to do any of that stuff.
And I'm not saying you did. I'm simply saying that that is my reason. And also the fact of
Wait, what?
a lot of that's my reason. Like if you ask me why you should look into Black nationalism, I would give you that, and that would be my reason to look into.
Well, that's not a
Because
reason. That's wait. Like if I ask you why should I look into this, you can't give me this, and that be a reason why I should look into it.
Giving you something that talks about, because police brutality is a thing that happens in the Black community, but it's not inherently a Black nationalist thing. That is a reason to look into Black nationalism. That's not inherently Black nationalism. That's just something that is touched on in Black nationalism.
Wait, yeah. So why should I favor Black nationalism over like just other methods of police reform?
No, it's not. Okay, so when someone asks you something like, why should I look into this? And you give them something that is related to that, that would be the answer. Like if I were to say it to you, instead of giving you that resource, if I were to say something like, oh, the reason why you should look into Black nationalism is because they deal with a lot of police brutality and a lot of issues that affect specifically Black people when it comes to police brutality. And that would be the exact same thing as me telling you to look at this paper or look at this book or anything that has to do with that, that expresses that in a much more educated way than I ever could.
So if I only have a finite amount of time in the day, which I do, and I also have a job that takes up 40 hours of my week, which I do, I have a limited amount of time that I can try to spend educating myself on things. I agree that police brutality is a huge issue, and I would like to stop it. Why should I specifically take the time out of my day to analyze this from a black nationalist perspective?
It's
What
so
do you mean
me
it's not
sending
analyzing?
you a 5-minute read article is not analyzing. Me sending you that would be
no.
my
You if you would let me finish my sentence, I wouldn't have. You wouldn't be. We wouldn't be you wouldn't be arguing that point too. That's not the point I was making. Why should I want to analyze these issues from a black nationalist perspective, as opposed to analyzing it from any other perspective that wants to break down, wants to induce police reform and stop oppressive policing?
Because it's a okay. So when someone specifically talks about police brutality, that is a problem that sorry, English is not my first language, so I am going to mess up some words. But that is a problem that is specifically catering to Black people, especially in America. So if you're asking me things about police brutality and why it's important to look at it through a Black nationalist perspective, it would be that these people specifically live in those communities, understand the problems of those communities, and understand how to fix the problem. Because there are a lot of people that talk about police reform that frankly don't understand the root of the problem. There are plenty of things that you can do for police reform that only affect places that don't have predominantly Black people. And the thing that I would send you would express what I'm saying right now, but in a more academic sense. Because me as a person, I don't believe, the reason why I don't say things, like I don't tell people about this or this reason or that reason, is because simply I don't have the backing or the status, not even the status, but I don't have the education to safely tell someone a reason why without shifting their perspective of something into either a wrong perspective or not doing the thing itself justice. So I could give you my perspective, but my perspective should be taken with a grain of salt when it comes to actual, like me telling you would be the equivalent of a YouTuber telling you. And I don't believe that people should base their opinions on stuff like that. You can use what I say, but I think that it's more important. I think it's more important for me to give someone access to a more trusted source, is what I'm trying to say.
So, okay. So one, you just there, like those were reasons. Like those are actually to a lot of people very compelling reasons. It's somewhat compelling to me. Not, I mean, like I'd be interested in discussing like it more, or whatever. But like, that's a whole other thing. But like those were like somewhat compelling reasons. Like if someone asks you like, why should I like, why should I want to like look into Black nationalism? Like those would be reasons. Like if you just send them an article that just has statistics, well,
it
like
would
that
be
doesn't
statistics. It would be explaining. See, the thing is, I don't think that I should send statistics. It would be the article on, say, like a professor or anyone who's like versed politically, like professionally versed in this stuff would be explaining it. So it would be basically what I said, but in a more better to understand, way more eloquent. Just everything would be better. It would be
Do you
what
think
I
everyone
just said,
should?
but better.
Do you think everyone should look into Black nationalism?
If it doesn't, so not necessarily, because there are places where it doesn't necessarily matter. Like there are things, like say you live in a place where, well, no, so there are places where it wouldn't necessarily be Black nationalism that you would need to look into. It could be something like just educating yourself on racism, because there are places where white supremacy isn't used, because Black nationalism is a specific protest to white supremacy. Places like my family's from the Middle East. White supremacy isn't necessarily a thing in the Middle East, but there
We're in
is
the Middle East.
racism. Syria, and then I lived in Saudi too. But
I don't know there were black people in Syria.
Huh?
I didn't know there were black people in Syria.
My dad isn't black. But
Oh,
basically,
okay. So part of your family, okay.
okay, yeah. So those places, it would be a thing of racism and not necessarily Black national. You could obviously and then it's also like a place like that, it would be more effective to use the lens of racism and say, if you're in like Syria and Saudi, it would be more effective to use something like, say, Islam to make your case than it would be to use American Black nationalism. Because,
do you think every American should look into Black nationalism?
I think most Americans, if they are well versed in learning, like if they're, I think that you should already have taken the step of learning and looking into racism. I think that's more important than looking into Black nationalism, because Black nationalism is Black nationalism is the same as, say, you learn about anti-Semitism, but then you take the one step further and join clubs and organizations that specifically help Jewish people. That is something that someone can choose to do in their free time. Going in organizations, helping people, donating, all that stuff. That is stuff that someone would choose to do if they're already well versed in anti-Semitism. So I don't think it's smart to start off with Black nationalism, because if someone doesn't really know much about racism and then you tell them, I want you to spend time teaching these Black children, how to responsibly use a gun or gun safety, they're going to be like, wait, what? Why would I take the time out of my day to do that? Just like how, like, if someone tells you, hey, I understand that you're like don't really care about anti-Semitism or the plight of Jewish people, but I want you to go donate to the ADL. Like, that's why I feel like you should go through basic things, like, learn about racism. That's more important than learning about Black nationalism, because learning about Black nationalism is equal to like joining the NAACP. It's like you don't have to do that to advocate and fight for the rights of POC people in America.
Do you think I should look into Black nationalism?
Well, if you're interested in the plight of Black people in America specifically, and how you could say better your community specifically, yeah. If you want to have a direct impact in the lives of people that you see in your day-to-day life, I think, yeah, that'd be great. It'd be like because there's plenty, and it would help you too, because I don't know what you do in your life, but it could help build your resume in the sense of, teaching gun safety or teaching sex education in places that don't necessarily, that either have a high population of teen moms or STDs or gun violence, that type of stuff. If you are interested in helping your community, I think, yeah. But if you already need to learn so much more about what Black people in America go through, then I think you should go with what's most important, which would be things like learning about racism and systematic racism and all that stuff before you start to go into Black nationalism. Because most people who are in Black nationalism already understand those concepts, and it would be really weird for someone who doesn't really understand just joining the NAACP and then being like, wait, what are you guys talking about,
How do you feel about the name of like the movement Black nationalism? Do you think that like it's problematic that like it sometimes gets conflated with Black separatism? Do you think that like like do you think did you wish it had the movement had a different name?
No, because Black separatism comes after. Black separatists are they come from, so basically Black nationalism has been around for quite some time. It's that Black separatism comes around in about the 80s to 70s after integration. So American integration was heavily based on racism. So a lot of the things that did happen during integration were very dishonest in what they were trying to do, because Black people wanted to integrate, and the American system was like, okay, we'll integrate, but we'll make it so it specifically harms you guys more than it would harm us, instead of trying to make it actually equal, where you see stuff like Black businesses shutting down because these very famous white businesses that Black people were not allowed to go to, that have a entire farm corporation backing them, like Walmart, opening up in these areas. You see these prestigious Black schools being shut down because all the amazing or like really, really educated or just really smart Black kids are being taken out of their good schools to go to these white schools. And so those are valid criticisms, those are valid things, but Black separatists took those things and then they made it into a thing of, we should have never integrated, period, and we need to be separate. So that's its own movement, and they do tend to be lumped in with Black nationalists simply because, it's mainly because they do have similar plights. But I feel like Black nationalists, sometimes this is a fault on Black nationalism, they don't outright denounce these people. I don't think that a movement should like always be denouncing the craziest of their movement, but it would be easier, it would be less confusion if outright from the beginning Black nationalists said something like, these people do not endorse us, this is not us, we are a completely separate movement. I feel like that would help significantly. But right now, there's really not much you can do but educate people on the difference between Black nationalism and Black separatists.
Do you think do you think that like if like there was a different name for Black nationalism that didn't like include the word nationalism, which is coded as separatism, do you
Well, it's
think
only coded
that
as. Oh, okay, I'll let you.
yeah. Do you think that like if it had a different name, more people would be like it wouldn't be as polarizing and more people would be like willing to like listen to the ideals? Because like if you just define it the way that I'm also a Bosch fan, so like I'm biased in that way. If you but like I didn't really okay, so like that I can't remember her name, but the Black woman he was talking to, she was saying
Yeah.
like Black nationalism is just about like mutual aid groups and like stuff like that. Like that was a lot of it. Do you think if it had a different name, people wouldn't be so polarizing? Because like if you just said like I'm for Black mutual aid,
So,
no anti-racist would oppose it.
so basically, the reason why Black nationalism is so polarized is because a direct protest of Black nationalism was white nationalism. So in America, Black nationalism had its foundings and its movement started after the assassination of Martin Luther King, and the symbol of Black power and the Black fist in the air, that all started. And then as a specific protest to Black nationalism, people started to call themselves white nationalists, and they used to say things like white power. To say that we should change our name would be to tell BLM right now that they should change their name because of the connotations of all lives matter or white lives matter, which is a direct protest to something that was started beforehand. So I understand where you're coming from, but the term Black nationalism has been around before the counter protest of white nationalism. So.
Well, but we don't care which name was first. We care about like what name
no,
will be the best for Black people.
Well, yeah, but it's a thing of why should we change our movement because these like small, not subsection, this small group of people decided to popularize a term of hate when our term is specifically for love. Why should we change it? It's like why should pride, like gay pride, be changed because straight people make the argument of you shouldn't be proud of this, or oh, how come straight pride? You know what I mean? Like there shouldn't the minority shouldn't have to bend and break to appease the small subsection of racist when most people who are looking into Black nationalism would ask the basic question of, is Black nationalism the same as white nationalism? You know, like if you're already looking into it, or if you're interested, you could easily find out the meaning behind it, and it wouldn't be something like, oh, you know, like it's something that like if you ask about it, you would get the answer that you're looking for, and it clearly would show that these two things are different. So there's not necessarily a need to change it.
Well, if I thought that the pride movement, like if I thought like calling it pride and stuff like that was harmful to queer people, and I thought that it was like preventing cis people from sympathizing with our movement, which whether you like won't think you should have to or not, like again, unless you are a Black separatist, which you've said you're not, you do have to convince white people of your plight in order like to like in order to move your goals forward.
I think that
because
the
white people
majority
control
of people,
things.
but the majority of people in America, at least I would say liberal leftist people in America, already understand that, because BLM is a type of Black nationalism because it is just mutual aid. And a lot of people understand that Black Lives Matter does not mean that all other lives don't matter. So if someone were to have that inquiry, it would be someone who doesn't necessarily understand. So it would be a simple thing of just talking to them about BLM, because BLM is a type of it is Black nationalism. You don't even have to say you're a Black nationalist. Most people call themselves, they say they're part of BLM, or they say they're part of the NAACP. That is Black nationalism. Or they say they are a Black Panther. Nobody necessarily says that they are Black nationalists. I only said it to clarify, because the conversation was about Black nationalism. But on a regular day, if someone asked me, I would say I'm a Black Panther, or I believe in the BLM movement, or I'm a member of the NAACP. You know, like most people, don't say they're Black nationalists. Most people say,
"Are you
like,
a Black Panther?"
Yeah, my school, for my university, we have it's called the New Black Panther movement, but it's the same thing. It's just rebranding. But we have the NAACP, and we have, which is the state for my state. So basically, my school works with all state universities, or just any university, if they have a Black Panther Party club or thing, and they have an NAACP thing, it would be connected straight with the movement itself. So if you're a member of that, you are a member of the Black Panther Party. So no one's gonna, you know what I mean? Like no one's gonna sit here and say, "Oh, I'm a Black nationalist." Most people are gonna say, "Oh, I'm a Black Panther," or "I'm a member of the NAACP," or "I'm a member of BLM, this university or state or county or this or that." You know?
I'm sorry, my Discord crashed. What's the name? Like, so your school has a chapter of what?
We have chapters of like the NAACP, and we have a Black Panther party. We also have a BLM movement specific to my county, and then we also have, there's this other one that's called Black Women of America, and then I'm also the president of my school's Black Student Union, and I work for the Black African Coalition.
Is the Black Panther Party of your school, is it in any way affiliated with the original Black Panthers?
Well, the original Black Panthers had a rebranding, so their name is the New Black Panther Party now.
I thought that was I thought that was an offshoot. I thought the original, like most of the original Black Panthers who are still alive, like strongly disavowed the NBPP.
So, no, it's more mainly so the reason why they rebranded wasn't because of the beliefs itself. It's simply because America had a tendency to label Black Panthers as terrorists back in the 70s. So they just said, "Hey guys, we're new." It's basically if you like put a mask on and said, "I'm a new person," but you still have the same beliefs and everything. Just to, like when you go in incognito mode, like it's still you, but they can't really go, "Oh, you guys are the same people," because they rebranded quotation marks.
Yeah, I was under the impression that the NBPP were like were black separatists. They were really big like Farrakhanites.
There are some black separatists, but again, they're not like actual like high members. They're just people who join. Like you're gonna get those people, especially in university. We had one black separatist at my black student union specifically. I had talks with them. They're actually not a black separatist anymore, but you're gonna get that, especially in younger people. Most black separatists are younger people who are angry with the way the world is right now. They're tired of seeing black people get killed all the time. So most of them are just coming from an emotional standpoint, and it's very easy to speak to them and get them to not have so much hatred in their hearts and instead help them with learning to love, because again, you're here to help people. If you're a Panther or a member of any black coalition, you are here to help your community. You're not here to tell your community to start hating, you know?
What do you think about guns?
I like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't understand the people who say like, I need a gun to protect my, like, just say you like guns. Like, I like guns. I have guns because I like them. I don't have guns because I want to save the fucking country. Or there are a lot of people who are like, we need guns for the revolution. It's like, dude, come on, don't lie. Say that you like guns. It's like, I
Oh, I
like
think we do
guns.
need gun. I think we do need guns for the revolution, but that's a
I
side point.
no, the people who like genuinely believe like one Glock, like I don't understand the people who clearly don't know anything about guns, like the anarchists and like leftists who like know nothing about guns, don't own a gun in any way, and then they'll be like,
That's like $750 billion of funding every year.
yeah, they'll say things like all you need is a pistol. I'm like, no, you need training. It's like I understand that like if you did arm the American public and like give them cohesive training and combat and all that stuff, yeah, I understand that. But like just having a gun isn't gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly not. No,
Yeah,
but I
feel
think we should be doing those things.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like the
so
thing with
that's
guns is that the government
that's
just needs to be able to, it just needs to adhere to democracy, like under the threat of a revolution, rather than just like actually having a revolution.
Hey, whoever you are, can you repeat that? You're really quiet right now.
All right. I just think like that the populace should be armed, so the government has to like adhere to democracy under the threat of revolution, rather than like actually having revolution.
Oh, sure, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get all of our goals or all of my goals democratically. So I think at some point, like we may need a revolt, but like that's a whole other meme. Like the idea
Yeah,
that like
that's a big old meme, dude. I don't want to get anywhere near that.
oh, it is a big old meme, but like I don't like the idea that like oh like they have like AC-130s and they're just gonna like destroy Seattle. That's not gonna happen. They're not just gonna like you can't destroy stuff like that with your own like with a civil war
Yeah,
because
you can't just like you can't just
we
like
don't
wipe
live
out
in
a
the
city with a bunch of
1800s
people in it.
anymore. We don't live in the 1800s anymore.
well, you can't kill all your people and destroy all your infrastructure like to win a
Yeah, like
revolution.
that's the one thing about like fighting a government. Like they have to like actively avoid that thing.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. If I asked all the questions I really had for the Black Nationalist. I guess if you're just like a
Quick question.
What's up?
How do you feel about leftists? So you mentioned that you okay. I have a problem with leftists like this, but I want to know what you think about it. How do you feel about leftists who like will like criticize Nazis for being JQers, but then they'll say extremely anti-Semitic things in the sense of saying that they're supporting Palestine. Because okay, as an Arab person, I have supported like Palestine for like almost all my life, but it's like I've never had to say anything anti-Semitic. But I've like met a lot of like leftists who will say like extremely anti-Semitic things, but then they'll turn around and go, "No, I'm just criticizing Israel," and it's like not necessarily because you're talking about this specific group of people in that light, and it's the exact same thing a Nazi would say, but you're saying that you're
I don't know. I
different
haven't really
because
seen like examples of this, so.
Well, I'm super outspoken about it. I like and that's one of the reasons. There's a lot of friends. We have another Discord that has like 110, 12 some odd members. That like we talk about this stuff a lot in. And a lot of them will tell me like I'm like they don't actually consider me a Zionist, which is fine or whatever. Like a lot of the reasons that like I like call myself a Zionist is like because one, I think it fits like the definition of what the word means, and two, it's because it's like inflammatory and it will get like the conversation going. I think most of the conversation around the Israeli Palestinian conflict is completely lack of any nuance and most of the time lack of any understanding of the history of the region of conflict. And then yes, I do agree that there's a lot of times that anti-Semitism is covered by just being anti-Israel and pro-Palestinian. A lot of times Zionist will just be a term that like if lefties want to talk shit on Jews, but they find out that like, oh fuck, I can't talk shit on Jews, but I can talk shit on Zionists. And then if anyone like says like, oh hey, that's anti-Semitic, they're like, oh no, like you're the real anti-Semite for conflating Jews and Zionists. It's a problem.
Yeah, honestly, no, I honestly agree. It's a different thing in the sense of like like obviously black nationalism, but I do see what you're talking about in the sense of like I will have people say extremely racist things to me and they'll say no, I'm just talking about black separatists or hoteps, and it's like no, you're just taking your racism and veiling it under something that's seen as woke so that you have an excuse to be racist. Because I will have people say things to me like, oh, I don't really like these people because they're aggressive, or they'll just use black stereotypes and like things that are extremely racist. And it's like, it's very clear where you're coming from. But I've noticed with leftists, you can't call them racist or anti-Semitic because they will not listen to you. They will shut down. The best thing to do to them is say that you have racial biases or racist tendencies. For some reason, they listen to that. But if you outright call it like it is, they will shut down. They will say, no, I'm not racist. I'm this, or I'm that.
I can't be racist. I'm an anarchist.
Yeah, exactly. There are literally people like that. That's not a joke. That is that I know.
Yo, I can't be racist. I'm Italian.
Oh, goddamn, no. Never mind.
Yeah, and it's like, what'd you say, Salty?
Oh yeah, Vox. Never mind.
Vox didn't say that.
I'll see you later, Vox.
This
it wasn't
literally
Vox who
just
said that,
chud anarchy, just like wanting anarchy just so you can say the N-word.
No, it wasn't Vox who said I'm.
No. I know who it is, and I believe Vox knows who it is too.
Wait, Vox? How does Vox?
Vox is in Bohemians.
Wait, Vox, do you know who the I can't be racist, I'm an anarchist person is? I'm pretty sure everyone here knows who they are, but
everyone knows who they
Xander
are.
Hall's here. Oh my God, Xander.
Oh my God! What's going on? What's up, bro?
Xander Hall? For real?
Yeah, no, yeah. It's.
Yeah, sure.
I'm pretty sure Hi, Alex. Pretty sure everyone knows who the person is, but it's just like I don't want to say who it is because that would just be unnecessary drama. But it's really funny.
So, but that doesn't even necessarily doesn't make sense, because if you would argue that like because anarchism argues for the abolishment of capitalism and racism is like always connected with capitalism, that could like be a true statement. But I agree that it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't know who they are.
Okay, I'll just say who it is. It's this person named Comrade Sophia.
Oh, I know Comrade Sophia.
Yeah,
That's
she's a
my
tanky.
boo.
Isn't she a tanky?
No, she's not. She's an anarchist. But
apparently,
okay.
She's not really.
Apparently, she can't be an anarchist because she can't be a racist because she's an anarchist. So.
I mean that like there can be laid out arguments why this could be true.
Okay,
but,
so basically the
fair.
argument was she was saying some racist stuff and a black person called her out and she said, I can't be racist, I'm an anarchist.
Yeah, that sounds like very dumb. Yeah, I would need to look at the situation. But like theoretically, I mean, I'm not an anarchist. I'm just like saying that if you would argue that racism is in this, like as we have it right now, is necessarily the fault of capitalism, then you could say because you want to abolish capitalism and its results, you are also like against racism. But I think racism
James,
and capitalism.
James,
yes.
You can be against racism and be doing racism.
Oh yes, absolutely, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like
I was
someone
just
can like,
saying that.
if someone's truly an anarchist, they probably are truly against racism, but they can also like do racism if like they're not like aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
saying like I'm just talking about the interesting part of this. Yeah, I can't like. Yeah.
I think that you and the entire world have different definitions of the word interesting, James.
I agree, Joe. I agree.
But yeah, no, and there's also like a really crazy thing. So like there's a decent, and it's kind of coming up more as material conditions are worsening for people. There's like a decent amount of anti-Semitism in the Black community. Like you have people like Nick Cannon, and Ice Cube, posting and like talking about like some BHI stuff, some kind of anti-Semitic stuff. And it will like a lot of Jews on Twitter will a lot of white Jews on Twitter will like be like kind of do the same thing, like try to be like anti that, but like they're doing it by being racist. And it's been really interesting to watch the discourse of the more progressive Jews like trying to call out. They're like, look, like what we're not going to do is fight anti-Semitism with racism. Like that's not going to happen, especially because there are prominent Black Jews that like when Black people are being anti-Semitic and then Jews are being racist back, like Black Jews are really stuck in a really fucking hard spot.
Black Jews are stuck in it. Hi, Chucky.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, Chucky. There's a lot of people in DC. Holy shit.
Yeah,
it's because I'm here.
Why are you guys all here?
Because a debate is going to happen, and we're going to judge each other. No, we're going to debate so hard, you have no idea.
Nobody's debating.
Okay, someone's prepared.
I'm just here for the tea.
Someone
I'm here because I'm for
Actually, give it
and I don't
give it some time because in a few moments, once this conversation's over, we're going to be debating the Kyle shootings.
No, we're not.
Yes.
There's nothing to debate.
Does that guy
Yes, we
fuck
are.
police
Oh,
go on
God,
VC?
that's
Because
so-
this is so stupid. He's making some very stupid claims right now, and I can't type fast enough.
They blah.
Oh, sorry. Sure. They.
Who?
Fuck police. Triple parentheses. Fuck police.
Does
Oh,
does the law
I
of the
know
excluded
that.
middle apply to moral claims? Because I would assume that everything would be morally neutral until proven otherwise.
It depends on your moral system, but under consequentialism, it is. However, they did say that they don't operate under just consequentialism, and they're also in like the law of the excluded middle that only works within deductive reasoning. Like when we're working in the real world, we don't use deductive reasoning. There isn't really anything that uses
Yeah, wait.
that.
You could also just say it is not provable.
Sure, but they aren't really saying that. They're saying that because no one has said has sufficiently justified the shooting for them, therefore the shooting is not justified. Instead of saying, it has not yet been justified, but I don't know whether it is justified or not.
And that would make sense in the case that we would allow someone to say that harm has been caused and the harm hasn't been justified. And because no justification has been found, we must assume that this is like an overall harm.
I don't know. I personally don't think I could find I personally don't think I could justify it. But you know, moral shit's kind of subjective. I can see how
nice.
someone would justify it.
You can debate us on this.
Real quick, would you say the black nationalism thing is now over?
Yes.
Or are you going to go back to it?
Did you want to talk about something else?
I think people want to have a fight about Kyle.
Oh no. Salty.
Hmm?
Do you want to play Old Republic with me and Alex?
I haven't got download. I'll
What's wrong with you? I asked you like a week ago.
Yeah, but didn't need to
Left wing
play.
destroyed.
You know what?
Okay,
I'm
I'll
gonna go find my
download.
other black friends.
Hopefully this download isn't cancerous. Okay.
Why would it be cancerous? What type of computer do you have?
Unironically, my biggest input into almost every
Anything I download
conversation.
is cancerous. That's just how things work for me.
Oh, what the
True.
fuck? What? That's real short. Wait, what? Real small.
Alright.
I mean.
My biggest contribution.
So
to
now
like,
that my boyfriend is finally going home, I can actually give this more attention. So
James, debate me on my voice.
Wait, do you actually want to debate on this?
No.
Oh my god.
No.
Okay,
How would you
so
even like structure it? Never mind.
so what's Aisha?
Oh, hi, Nolan.
Hey, yo, anyone interested on blue politics right now? America Johnson is doing an AMA. Oh, that's
Is
not.
that the sexy guy?
No, American Johnson is the Vietnamese anarchist.
No, not the sexy guy.
Oh, yes, he is sexy. The non.
Wait, yeah, American Johnson is cute.
I think I agree with Jew here. Yeah, objectively, his aesthetics.
The guy.
What
the
is
guy,
this?
His wife is Vietnamese, right?
I don't even know if they're married. I literally don't know.
Wife
But
or
yeah.
wife?
He's very attractive.
Yes, his small, tanky Vietnamese GF. Yes.
Oof.
Okay. Nolan,
Yeah.
leave.
This is a joke about both doing racial and political fetishization, not the actual whatever. Fuck.
Okay,
Go
I
away.
gotta go into.
Yo, how's everyone doing? Shit ton of people here. Fuck.
Yeah. I'm just.
Would you like to debate?
I'm doing okay.
Debate on what? Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
What? Do you have any dumb shit to say?
Debate on debate.
I don't know. If I had dumb shit to say, I would have already said it. I probably did.
Okay.
Thoughts on
if
the
you have
Kyle
any dumb
shooting?
shit to say, I guess there's.
Rest in pepperonis.
Bread and roses. Thoughts
Yo.
on the Kyle shooting? Because I know that Jew
well,
loves his
it's very.
guns.
Look, it's
I do love
very,
guns.
It's very simple. Okay.
Okay. Oh, it's simple.
The reactionary forces will always have the support of the reactionary state, and the cultures that the reactionary state both controls and is shaped by. So the obvious answer is just to literally take your money. Don't try to minimize how many luxuries you spend it on, and use it to unironically buy guns for your friends.
I actually have a question about guns in the States.
What's up? What's up?
Can you buy firearms chambered in 5.56 and 7.62, or are they all in .223 and 308s?
No. I'm pretty sure. No.
In America,
5.56 is the standard. I'm pretty sure.
You can get whatever. Like it's
5.56 is cheaper. In America.
Yeah.
Is it actually? What then? 223.
From what I understand, is 223 is like
But
the
Canada,
international standard, but the America
too.
specifically, it's 5.56 for like commercial usage.
In Canada, you can get 7.62 for like $8. It's like insane.
I more meant like the individual firearms, because like in the little bit of
America,
reading I did on the Kylie boy is that they all described his rifle as a 223 rifle instead of a 5.56 rifle, and that led me to wonder if like
that's because the rounds are different, but most people don't know that, and they just know that they think it's like a different measurement system. So
no, I know they're the same. Well, they're not the same round. They're like the same.
Please do not put 223 in your 5.56 gun. It might go bad.
Isn't it worse to do it the other way around?
I can't remember, but one of them
worse to
can
do it
fuck
the
up
other way
the
I'm
around.
not sure. I'm
I think
pretty sure
because-
most of the AR-15s are like supposed. They should work fine with both, but
From the little bit that I read, because I was actually interested in this because Lamau trying to get a firearm in Britain.
belt-fed bullpup 44 Magnum.
You can get 22 drum mags in like Britain, right?
said that you shouldn't put your 5.56 in a 223 chambered firearm because like it has a higher yield, which leads to a high velocity, and the 223s aren't meant to handle that. They're like calibrated to do 223 like
Look,
payloads.
The
But I'm
problem
not
is
sure
that
how reliable that is.
if any of y'all will look in Chud Debate, the problem is that you look at these and they look exactly the fucking same to most people. But this can honestly fuck up your gun, depending on what gun you're using.
Yeah. Yeah, I was curious because like.
But yeah, you can get 5.56. 7.62 is more expensive, but
well,
I would honestly, if you're an American, please do not buy a 7.62 gun. I understand we're all communists. We all want either a Mosin, an AK, or an SKS. However, these things are not cost efficient. Please just buy an AR.
You could get AK chambered in 5.56.
California is
What are
the
you talking
SKS
about?
sanctuary state, though.
Well, if you just want a gun to have, I would recommend, especially if you have tiny hands, because I made the mistake. So my dad has really big hands, so it's technically his gun, but I keep it, and it's a Glock 17, but I can't carry it. It's so big. So you should get a Glock 26 Gen 4.
Your father has big hands, you say?
Huh? Yeah, my dad has
And
really big hands.
They actually have a new Glock variant.
Because he's like
that's actually really nice.
He's 6'5", and I'm 5'1", and I'm very small. So
wait, you're 5? What the fuck?
Yeah. So there's no point. I like have to use both my hands, and I barely cover the gun, and it's very.
Something a lot of people don't realize is that how the gun actually fits in your hand is probably one of the most important parts about whether a gun is right for you. It does. It is probably one of the largest factors in your aim, right? Go for a gun, predetermine the caliber firsthand. That makes it a lot easier to choose. Typically 9 or 40 cal, basic options.
Okay,
So-
anyways, I've just
like
decided to go Google it. You can fire 223 out of a 5.56 rifle safely, or you could use the 223 wild chamber and barrel for both.
With my Glock 17, I was so bad at aiming. Like the only thing I could aim for, which really all you need to aim for is the chest. But all I could aim for is
but why do you? I don't know.
Because I don't know if she wants to. Do you? Okay, Aisha, do you want to argue with us about black nationalism and like have us like I don't like? Do you want to? Because we will like argue with you if you'd like us to.
Why do I need to argue? If I've already if you don't believe what I believe, I don't necessarily care.
Wait, don't you want to convince people?
Well, no, the thing is,
Yeah,
I
it's
already,
like explain your point of view.
I already had this conversation with you, and you were respectful during the conversation. So what's the point of after the conversation?
Well, listen, like as a black person, like if black nationalism is the best way to go, I would want to like convince as many people as possible, right?
Could you be quiet for like 2 seconds?
Wait,
So,
you just finished speaking. You just finished saying something.
finish speaking.
Calm, everyone calm.
So, I had a conversation with you, and I was cordial with you in the conversation. And you, in the conversation, I don't understand why you'd need to, afterwards, when I'm not here, talk to other people and destroy me in a conversation that wasn't brought up.
I didn't say I would. I don't know if anyone actually said they would destroy you in a conversation. Jim might have, but that's just his like personality and stuff. He wasn't even a part of the conversation. He just wasn't even a part of the conversation.
Either way.
Okay. So I don't think anyone said they would destroy her in a conversation. I had some issue with some things. I thought her framing of the New Black Panther Party was incorrect. And like I also like took some issues with some of the things she said, but like I don't think it's. Well, sorry. I am responding to you, aren't I? Sorry, I'm kind of high right now. So I took some issues with things you said, but again, like we were having a cordial conversation. I actually have never spoken to a person who identified as black nationalist, so I was more interested in hearing the things you said. And then our buddy came in and asked like what happened, and so then Blah like represented the conversation as he saw it to Jim, and then some other person like took issue and like called us like or implied that we were cowards for talking about this behind your back. And I said no. I said, like, me and my friends are some of the most confrontational people on the internet. We will argue with anyone about anything. And like, we are not afraid. I was just trying to be polite and like not argue with you because it didn't seem like you were interested in an argument. I told him that if you wanted to come and argue with us about it, then like we would gladly do it.
You're
But
being much more cordial than like before.
what do you want me to do? You want me to call her the N-word to her face? Like I'm like, what are you talking about?
No,
Like,
it's just like
nougat.
It's just like very strange, like how like
If you
I
had
don't know,
differences, I mean, you
like
could have easily spoken to me about it or anything. You don't have to.
I don't know.
As a person
So
that has to like have conversations with people all the time, I think it's more important if you want to further yourself in any political aim to speak to the person when you have them in front of you and ask them every question you have instead of having shower thoughts after the discussion.
Well, here's all they said. All they said was it didn't seem like you were willing to defend your positions, which seemed like you kind of just said, and that like you already had, wait, I'm not done yet. You didn't want me to interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. So, so it seemed like you weren't willing to defend your positions because you did say that like you already had the conversation. Why should I actually have to convince people?
Okay, wait, why did you, in the middle of talking, say, don't interrupt me, I'm not interrupting you?
Because you said something.
I wasn't speaking.
oh, she's echoing in someone's mic. That makes it sound like she's trying to talk.
Okay.
So yeah, and thank you. I have forgotten because, like I said, I'm not in the most sober state of mind right now. That was those were the two big things. I took issue with. I think like you're like incorrect and possibly lying. I don't know you very well.
No, it's
about
not
like the.
It's just that there's different types of people that speak. You can
Okay.
ask if you want. There's different types of people who identify with the Black Panther movement. So there's obviously
Okay, cool.
people who are, and I did say this. I did tell you that there are people. People who don't speak for everyone that are separatists.
So again, that was like one of my contentions. Which again, I still think you're continuing to misrepresent the new Black Panther Party. And then also, I took issue with the fact that like when I asked you to like compel me to like look into like your core fundamental belief, like you just like wouldn't, and like it was like very difficult for you to even like give me like any reasons to want to give a fuck about this like social political issue that you care very strongly about. We can go into this more. Like we can argue. I can be mean. I can like talk to you about how like you're a shitty advocate for your like stances or whatever. I didn't want to do that. Like I thought that we had a cordial conversation.
Quick question. So during the conversation, you were specifically asking about the Black Panther movement that I was a part of in my specific university. You asked me about the rebranding of the Black Panther movement that I am a part of. I told you about it. So
wait. I asked you about the new Black Panther Party.
I was a part of the new Black Panther movement in my school, specifically the chapter that is a part of my university. So how does that?
Do you think that's different? Do you think that's different from the new Black Panther Party?
You do realize that if someone is a part of a movement and that movement is labeled the new Black Panther movement, like I understand that online or really anywhere there are people who will give you different
but it's not just online, like the SPLC.
Do you understand there's just a movement and a party?
Yes, the movement party, but like
wait, no, stop obfuscating those two things. Do you know that there's a movement and a party?
When I call it that, I will say again, English is not my first language. So when I say that, I mean the organization itself. It's not
Wait. Then if I ask you if you know the difference between two things, don't tell me yes, and then follow up with, well, no, I'm ESL. I don't know what these words mean. Just tell me you don't know the difference, and I'll explain it to you.
What words mean? It's that when I say though, I literally explain to you. When I say movement, I mean the organization itself. Again, English.
Okay. Then if someone,
I will say words because I'm not fluent in this language. I will say words, but if you ask me, yes, I am talking about the organization. I didn't try to tell you, no, I'm talking about this different thing. It's just simply sometimes I say the word movement, sometimes I say the word party.
So what do you think about the fact that the ADL and the SPLC have both like condemned like the new Black Panther Party as like a racist, anti-Semitic organization? And like generally a black separatist organization.
It depends on which sect they're talking about. Are they talking about the specific one that is working? Because again, you can't really have at least the charter of, because my school is a public school, you can't have schools that are labeled as hate organizations on our charter, which is why we don't have like alt-right movements at my school or parties at my school, like things like what's that one called that's run by there's that guy, not Charlie Kirk, but there's another guy. It's
America
very
First,
popular.
Proud Boys.
I think it's called America First. But we do have
Yeah,
Charlie
Nick
Kirk's
Fuentes.
movement. We have Charlie Kirk's movement at our school. But
TPUSA.
we don't have the other one because that is specifically labeled as a hate group. So
okay, so is
different
your chapter not affiliated with the New Black Panther Party then?
we are the what's called again. It's not which one are I'm confused on which one you're talking about because
I'm talking about the New Black Panther Party, the one that's been deemed by the ADL and the SPLC as hate groups.
I'll send you the one that I'm part of.
Okay.
One sec. To go on my school's website.
To whomever called her back in here, am I being confrontational enough for you, or like, would you like me to start yelling?
It's not. One, I still disagree with you on the stump speech. Like,
okay, we can argue about that too.
And also,
try spitting on her. I think that'll help.
Secondly, you don't have to be aggressive to argue with someone. What do you mean?
Wait, well, I don't know. You just told me that like my demeanor changed when she came back in, and you told me that
your demeanor did
when
change.
She was,
it really did. You were like,
wait. So am I being meaner, or do you want me to be meaner? I feel like I'm being pretty aggro right now. I can get meaner. I yell a lot. I'm gonna start yelling at you if you keep calling me a coward.
He just doesn't want to be called a racist. All right, leave him alone.
I find it strange how
it's okay. Like the strength of his arguments doesn't increase with him screaming.
What's strange?
It's like power levels. The louder you scream, the more powerful your arguments are.
Okay, shut up. What's up, Salty?
You just go Super Saiyan.
So I just find it strange, like how you're so angry before, and now
I don't think I was angry before.
Yeah.
Ah, here we go. I found an event that we do.
Yeah, we're.
Okay, thank you for telling me how what my emotions are. Thank you, Mr. Emotion Explainer.
He's just trying to explain that you're a simp, alright? That's all he's doing.
I'm a simp? I mean, the girl I'm simping for is not in this voice call.
Oh, so you admit.
Wait, yeah? No, I'm a hardcore coomer, dude. I simp all the fucking time. Here's the party we work with.
I guess he's proud. I mean, pride is a sin. Christianity may have not been a mistake.
Wait, okay, why are you calling this the New Black Panther Party?
Because remember you asked me about rebranding, and I told you yes, we did rebrand.
Wait, the New Black Panther Party is a different. The New Black Panther Party is a different thing. The New Black Panther Party is an organization that was founded in Dallas, Texas, and has been labeled by the ADL and the SPLC as a hate group.
Uh-oh.
So what does but you asked me about rebranding, and you asked if we had done a rebranding. I said yes, we rebranded to get rid of people like black separatists.
So you rebranded to the name of a hate group?
No. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that the NBPP is a hate group that was founded in Dallas, Texas in the 1980s.
Okay, and I literally just showed you the group that I'm a part of. So why are you?
Okay, so why are you calling it the NBPP?
I said it was the new Black Panther movement. I never said, oh yes, we are affiliated with black supremacists.
Wait, no, you said it was the New Black Panther Party. That is the specific name of a specific political group that is labeled as a hate group by the ADL and the SPLC. You probably shouldn't call yourself the new Black Panther Party. And I also specifically called it the NBPP in our conversation, and you like rolled with it. Like, you probably shouldn't start telling people you're part of the NBPP when that's a hate group.
Sorry, I was responding to something.
Okay, you're fine.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I thought we were on the same basis. I'm not here supporting Black supremacy. The entire conversation, I told you I wasn't. So I don't understand. So if you have like questions, you could have easily asked that. You didn't have to.
No. I thought like you were just like, I thought you were bad faith, and I just was interested to hear what you had to say, and I didn't.
Again, this might be a communication thing, but you were specifically talking about rebranding. So I said, yeah, we are the new Black Panther Party in the sense of these anti-white or these really hateful people. We don't want them in our group. And we specifically.
And actually, I did ask you, isn't the new Black Panther Party a Black separatist organization? And you told me no. So at that point, I just assumed you were like lying. And like, I didn't plan on ever talking to you again, so I just figured I'd keep the conversation cordial.
No, I wasn't. No, if you thought I was defending them, no, I don't know anything about those.
Well, I thought you were one of them. So
no, I don't know those people. I literally don't know that group. Okay. I only know.
I would advise you in the future not to say you're part of the new Black Panther Party, because the new Black Panther Party is a thing that has been disavowed, from what I understand. This could be wrong. I haven't sourced it myself. But from what I understand, the new Black Panther Party was disavowed by a lot of the original Black Panthers who are still around.
I mean, okay, because I thought, like I told you also I was part of the NAACP, which I don't. I mean, I know for a fact that they are very, very against anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sure. Well, like, yeah, you can be a part of both groups.
Well, yeah, no, I was just, it's probably a miscommunication thing, but no, I didn't know about this group, and I don't support groups.
Okay, yeah, and then the other thing that I took that I took issue with previously was that like I think that like it's really dumb to like have like, because like this sounds like or I imagine it would be like this sounds like and based on how many organizations you're a part of, like this sounds like something that's like very like core to like the way you see the world and the way you try to like act and everything. And I'm sure you think it's very important for Black people. Or not for Black people. I'm sure you think it's very important for people to engage in Black nationalism to help Black people. So you should.
I told you about how if someone wanted to know, I would engage them first with learning about racism, because
you're in lefty servers. You're in lefty servers. Most of us know about racism, and most of us are anti-racist.
Not necessarily. No, there are a lot of leftist people who are.
Do you think that's most leftist people?
Most leftist people that I have spoken to do tend to have a certain racial bias. Like, it's the same thing with like how they've been so used to this these racist terms that they think, oh, I'm not combating, I'm not being racist, I'm combating this group of people specifically. So it's like, it's the same thing as when people say like, I hate Zionists or something. So you have to combat that first before you ever get them involved in any type of movement. Because a lot of people do have racial biases that they need to confront before they are willing to listen to anything else.
Do you think that you have any, do you think that you should do that though, personally?
Confront their racial biases? If I notice someone has racial biases, yes. I think it's always great to tell them, hey, like if I see someone who has like a misogynistic or any type of hateful views, I will try to, even if they're not like openly, like even if it's like a pacifist type like racism or like anything, I will question someone on it. I'll ask them why they believe it or try to disprove that. But
and why do you do that?
I don't think
Wait, Dude, can I ask two more questions?
Yeah, go for it.
So, Aisha, why do you do that?
Do what?
Why do you think it's important to question other people when they say things that are racist and stuff?
Just to broaden their perspective in life, and I feel
like. So wouldn't you do the same thing with your beliefs?
Black nationalism is you have to get them to a point where they understand something before you just straight up jump into things like, okay, now I want you to start donating to this community or start helping this community do this, this, and that. because, like I said, Black nationalism is just a label. But most people who are Black nationalists will say, I am either a part of the NAACP, I'm a part of this union, or a part of that. And that specific group does things for the community and is an outreach group. So it would be strange to start off a conversation with someone trying to convince them to join a club when it's better off, at least I believe it's better optics to teach someone about biases or just everyday racism and stuff like that than it is to try and get someone to join an organization. I mean, in person, I'm sure it is easier to get people to join your clubs in person, but through online, I think that it's more important to just have a conversation with people than trying to sign people up for clubs, because people will say that they're going to do something, but then you have that one conversation with them and then they completely forget about it. Whereas you teach them about like things that they do in their everyday life that they don't have to like go and make a commitment for, because joining a club is commitment. Realizing that some things in your life are inherently racist or sexist isn't really a commitment. It's just having a conversation with yourself. So
do you
I
think,
feel like that's something that you need to do first.
Do you think Black nationalism, in order to identify as that, you have to be like a member of a group? Is that like something important to that?
No, I was saying in the sense of Black nationalism as we see it today, as it's always been seen, really, because to be a Black nationalist, because Black nationalism is basically the uplifting of Black people in the Black community. So to do that, you would have to be involved in a sense of.
Wait, then the answer to your question was yes. Why did you say no?
You said they said that. Do you have? What did you say? Could you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Oh, he's saying. Oh, I asked you if you think that joining an organization is important, and then you said
It doesn't have
no.
to be it doesn't have to be an organization. What I mean by no is like it doesn't have to be joining the organization, but you do have to do like some sort of like you will have to go out of your way to like help people. So you don't have to necessarily join an organization, but you would do like events or like donating, because donating doesn't mean that you joined an organization, right? Donating to bailout funds doesn't mean that you're now a part of BLM. It simply means that you did something for your community. So it would be very strange of me. It's like basically imagine if you wanted to educate people on capitalism and then immediately, instead of like talking about the effects it has on their day-to-day life, you immediately start trying to get them to join a union, or
oh, but okay, so
the Capitalist Party of America, not capitalist, the Communist Party of America or something like that. Like it's really off-putting to some people, which is why I think it's better to have a conversation about.
So the difference I see here is that it seemed to me that this conversation was framed as if we were supposed to be discussing Black nationalism specifically, which is why I think people are confused when you essentially say that you're not really willing or you don't feel like you're able to defend these positions, because that's what we're supposed to be talking about, or that's what I was under the impression that we're supposed to be talking about.
Well, I was explaining because they had the original person. I don't know if they're still here. Oh yeah, they're still here. They wanted to know about like what I think Black nationalism is, and I simply said that Black nationalism is Black people, not even Black people, but helping uplift Black communities.
You think people should do that, right?
Yes, but they need to understand certain things first, because you can't just have someone immediately go into donating or helping out.
So, you good?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. So the thing is, I'm really glad you brought it up, because I was actually going to use that exact example with socialism and unions and stuff. So you should have, like, if you think that like people, like you want people to act a certain way, if you think that this is a good thing for people to do, then you should want to be convincing, be able to compel people to do that. Like that's what we should do on the internet. And that's what we should do in our lives is try to convince people to join our causes and believe the way we do, so we can like influence grassroots social change.
Wait,
one of the really good ways.
What I said in the beginning, where I said it's much easier to get people to Black nationalism in person than it is online, which is why online I focus on just talking about racism.
But this is supposed to be a conversation about Black nationalism.
Nationalism online. So I'll get there. So you should always have like a stump speech, like that you can like just kind of lay out to someone if they ask you about like why they should even give a fuck about your like your causes.
I understand that you came to the conversation that we had a little bit later, but the entire conversation, if you ask Vox, was literally supposed to be someone asking me questions on whether Black nationalism itself is a movement or if it just means like what the meaning of it is. I explained the meaning to be outreach to your community. So then why would I need to come in with a speech if I was here to answer specific questions?
Wait, no, you should always have the speech. You should always know how to convince people over to your point.
And I came here prepared to answer specific questions that someone who wanted to talk to me had. So I understand that you came in with your own type of conversation, but you can't expect me to base everything.
Wait, no, I can expect you to always be able to advocate for these things you believe very strongly in. You should always be.
So a quick question. If you have a scheduled debate with somebody and you were supposed to be talking about something, do you then prepare for random individuals to start coming in and asking you things that have nothing to do with what you guys are talking about?
I can right now defend any position I hold, and I can right now give
an answer my question. Do you expect someone
give you a short speech on why you should adopt any position? Because I got told I'm a fucking coward for not getting aggro to you last time you said stupid shit.
No, wait. That's not what I
gotta
said.
make sure that if you're saying
No.
I
held contention with you saying this shit just after she left. I'm sorry.
Are you mad at someone else? Because this entire time I have talked to you like a person. I don't come on here. I rarely have political conversations online. I don't come here to have people yell at me because they had a conversation with someone else. You have a problem with someone else, you take them up with them, okay? You're an adult. You have a problem with them, talk to them. Don't come to me with your problems, complaining to me about something. I'm willing to have a conversation with you, but what I'm not willing to do is have you yell at me because someone else called you something mean, okay? Take that up with them.
Cool. Okay, so I still maintain, like, if you asked me right now, I didn't prepare for shit. I was just trying to grill earlier, and then someone said, oh, there's a Black nationalist somewhere. Let's go see what they think. And I said, okay, cool. Anyone in this voice channel right now can ask me to defend a position of mine or ask me why they should believe in a position I think they should believe in. And I can do that off the cuff. Like, I believe in these things very strongly, and I believe very strongly in advocating for them. Online, IRL, I don't care. I just find it weird that, like, when asked why should I care about this thing that you should and I can do the same thing like I think people should be communists. If I don't think they're ready to be communists, I can just talk about like co-ops and labor unions. But I have these different speeches. If I'm talking to a person who's like all for co-ops and labor unions, but they're not full on anarchists yet, then I have things to talk about anarchism for.
Do you?
Problem is, I think I have these beliefs that I don't hold. I literally answered the person's question on what they think Black nationalism is. And I told them it's outreach. And then you asked me, I told you exactly what I believe in. I told you about how I think it's important for people to be taught about gun safety and all of that. But you're actively ignoring it because you're mad at somebody else.
Wait, I'm not ignoring anything. So the first question I asked you was if you could compare. So the first question I asked you is if you could compel me to even look into Black nationalism, and you straight up said, what I said right after? No, I don't. What did I say right after?
Do you not remember after asking me that question, I told you some reasons, and you specifically said, well, it doesn't compel me, but those are reasons. What do you want? I told you.
So that was not right after. That was not right after. That was 5 or 6 questions after.
No, it wasn't.
I had to prod and pull that out of you. When I first asked you it, you initially totally declined to want to compel me in any way. You went on some tangent about how you don't think it's even possible to convince people of things, and you started saying that, like, if I was talking to a white nationalist, I wouldn't tell them to join the NAACP.
Ignoring things, but
you're just obfuscating the conversation. Or not obfuscating. You're just misrepresenting the conversation. You're misrepresenting the conversation. That's not what happened. You are. Okay, good one.
Right afterwards, you said, and I quote,
guys, can we get back to topic, please?
So, anyways, right afterwards, you literally told me, you were just like, oh, why wouldn't you represent it? And I responded with, I will give you things that represent my argument because me as a person, I don't think I can honestly give you every reason. I said that specifically. I didn't say
I literally had to pull teeth for you even to start. I literally had to pull teeth for you even to say something as simple as because this is what's being said by the people who live in the communities, and that like we should listen to them because their lived experiences are like that they were in the communities and they know what's going on firsthand better than anyone else.
I said to
That
you.
was I had to ask like
You
3
didn't
or 4 or
ask me
5
3
questions.
You asked
I
me, and I told
absolutely
you,
did.
I specifically told you, I don't think I, as a person, can reasonably have this conversation with you, which is why I would rather give you this 3-minute article. And then you went on a tangent of, I work 40 hours a day, I do this, and that. I understand.
I do.
that
I'm a real hard worker. I'm gonna start a
angry
podcast
right
too.
now.
You should all listen to my podcast. Actually,
You
it's
might be angry, but like for you to like deny that I said that to you, I don't know what you want.
Wait, I'm not denying you said it. I'm denying you said it immediately after. I had to like.
That was my exact reasoning as to why I wasn't gonna talk about it. Like that was my exact reason. And then I tried to go back to the conversation I was having with the other person, but then you decided to make the conversation everything you wanted to talk about. Because you came in and derailed an entire conversation. I wanted to stop talking to you so I could get back to talking to the other person that actually wanted to speak at first. But then we had an entire conversation where I answered all your questions because you decided you were the main character now and you wanted to speak. I understand.
Oh, I am the main character, by the way.
I understand that you maybe, I don't know, came in expecting to have like a conversation where you were going to debate with people, but that's not what I came here to do. And it's like.
Actually, I didn't come in here expecting to have a conversation and debate with people. I tried to cordially ask you questions and then let you go away.
The entire conversation was to be had with the other person. You came in, they asked me
Who's
one
the other?
question.
Are you talking about
They
Black
asked me
Caligula?
one question, and then you started asking all these types of questions without.
Wait,
even
are you talking about? Are you talking about Black Caligula?
Yes.
Wait, that's like my friend, and like he like was done with his line of questioning.
No,
If he would have like wanted
the conversation.
Blah, were
I think
you
that Blah
upset
just
by the conversation ending?
Yeah, I think Blah agreed with you in the end, and then it ended there. That's what I remember happening. Blah just said like he didn't disagree, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that is what happened. By the end, I said, "Oh, okay, then we have no real disagreements in terms of black nationalism." I
And
guess.
I started asking you questions. And I started asking you questions, did I not? And we started talking about where you get your sources, and this person came in and started talking.
Well, yeah, and after we discussed where I got my sources from, we basically agreed.
In the middle of talking about that. We were still in the middle of talking about that because that person asked in the middle of the conversation how I would defend the thing, and I said, what's it called again? Oh, I don't believe that I can honestly give you like, an academic reasoning for this. I feel like if you want to, I can give you all this stuff, and those would be my reasonings. So, what's your point?
What do you mean by academic reasoning?
So basically, they were asked. So basically, when it comes to like wanting to be a part of like Black movements and Black organizations, you would need to because most people would need to understand. Because most problems that Black people face would be things like, especially in Black communities, it would be gun violence, STDs, things like teen pregnancies. These types of things, you would have to be able to actually want to like be involved. You would have to understand them. And I, as a person, I am not as informed as people who spend their lives works doing this stuff. So I would much rather show people the effects that some of these things have and give someone the whatever work they need. And that would be my reasoning would be like, just look at all it's not even data because I don't believe in giving someone pure statistics because that doesn't do anything. But you would give that to the person. I am happy to continue to speak with the person, continue to have conversations on what I have sent them and show them why I believe it. But I'm not going to sit here and try to butcher the work that I looked into because I don't want to irresponsibly give someone the wrong idea on something and that leads to them being swayed away from that cause or swayed away from doing something.
So for Jew and Asia, and Jew, you can interrupt me if this isn't what you want to know. So Jew, is what you want to know from Asia, like if a random person or really anyone that isn't willing to really read the sources or is very unlikely to actually read the sources or that needs to be pulled in by rhetoric to Asia's side. You're asking Asia, how would you convince this person? Like you need a stump speech of sorts to convince people like that.
Yeah. Like, well, you just like so. If my first question is, can you compel me to like care about your thing? That means that like I'm genuinely interested in well, I was genuinely interested in knowing if you could defend your positions or whatever. But if someone asks you, can you compel me to like look into your stuff? Then like that's them like kind of like showing some interest in it, and you should like be able to like get like your instant like your immediate response was no, I can't. I don't think I convinced someone of anything.
No, I can't. I understand.
No,
that
you did. You did.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I literally said I can't explain it reasonably, and then I gave you a small thing. I said things like police brutality because I literally said things like police brutality, and I went into detail what I was talking about police brutality, and then right afterwards you said that's a reason, but it doesn't compel me enough.
Wait. No, because you went into police brutality, and then I had to ask you, yeah, but why should I, like, police brutality is an issue that affects all of black people, and there's a lot of ways in which you could analyze it, which you then interrupted me after I said the word analyze, and started going on some tangent about not what I was talking about. And then I said there are a lot of ways in which you can analyze, like, the effects of police brutality. Why should I analyze it through a black nationalist lens instead of some other lenses that say that they can tackle police brutality? And you, like... we had to go down this line of questioning.
Immediately when you asked me that question, I immediately...
Okay, this isn't right after. This is several questions down the line.
But like,
what do you mean by right after?
Are you...
We literally had like a...
My question is, what are you arguing right now? You asked me questions. I answered your questions. You told me that you didn't like my reasoning, and you were like, fine, whatever. So what is your argument? If you have more questions, ask them. But sitting here going in a back and forth of, you didn't say this, you said this, well, you didn't say this, you said this, well, it took me asking you this question to do this, this, and that. What do you gain from that? If you want to have an actual conversation, I'm obviously open to have a conversation with you. But you sitting here complaining about some, well, I had to ask you this question, this, and that. That doesn't really do anything.
So I would agree. I don't think there's any utility. I don't think there's any
specific questions, but don't sit here asking me about some conversation you had literally 30 minutes ago, talking about some, well, you said this, this, and that. Tell me what you want to ask.
I would agree. I don't think that this utility, other than me getting a lot of enjoyment at yelling at people, is getting anyone any utility. It's probably making some of my friends really happy because they also like it when I yell at people. But I would agree. I didn't want to have this conversation with you. I wanted to have a cordial conversation. I wanted to hear what you had to say, and then I was going to take that and then just make my own judgments based on what you had to say. Like, there was someone else who pulled you back into this VC because they didn't like the...
It was multiple people telling me that you guys...
Okay, then there were a lot of fucking people in this VC who pulled you back in here who wanted me to have this conversation with you, apparently. I didn't want to do it. I'm willing to do it. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's not gonna, like, make me feel bad. But, like, I don't think there's any utility out of this.
So then... oh my God. I literally asked you in the beginning if you had more questions, I could answer them. You went no, and then I was like, cool. You asked me about the Black Panther thing, I answered you on that. But then you still wanted to argue. Like, I understand.
No, because I think it's ridiculous you can't advocate for your positions. I think that's horrible. I think you should be able to advocate for your positions.
Okay. Obviously, you want to have an argument, but I'm not the person that's going to argue with you. So
wait, no, I don't want to have an... Holy fuck. Okay. Then leave. You just got called back in. The only reason you got called back in here was for me to yell at you. If you don't want me to yell at you, then like you don't need to be back in here. The other people got mad that I said something behind your back, and they wanted me to say it to your face, so they called you back in here. Like, that's what's going on. So if you don't want to have this conversation with me saying these things to your face, then like go hang out with your friends that you were doing.
It wasn't.
So
that was the most of it. But
no,
also,
actually, they had a productive discussion. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's unproductive.
But I don't think it's Jude's fault. No, it's not Jude's fault. Yeah.
I think it's all Jude's fault. It's always the Jude's fault.
Whoa! Slow down, buddy. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wait, okay. I'm Jewish myself. I can make that joke.
All right, so let's actually have a real debate. Let's talk about how Kyle did nothing wrong, and he should make him president.
Haven't we been over this so many times?
You have to frame that in the most undefensible way you can, Vox.
So are we
Jim,
going
have you looked
nationalism?
into general?
Listen, I'm not gonna stop until I convince.
Defending him.
I'm not gonna stop until I get Joe Biden himself I'm not going to stop until I get Joe Biden himself to admit that Kyle did nothing wrong. All right.
Whoa.
Kyle
Jim,
did
have you looked
something
into
wrong,
general?
Vox.
Can we
So
debate?
There's this guy that is defending him. Maybe we should like get him on here.
Wait, I am on
You
here.
mean yeah, a lot of us are in here.
Oh, sorry.
wait,
Yeah.
can I chat with Aisha for a little bit about black nationalism? Because I wanted to do that for a while.
Let's go.
It's too late,
Oh,
Jim.
disaster.
No, it's not too late.
It's
Aisha,
always too late.
shut the fuck up, Evan.
I will
Aisha,
measure the decibel, okay?
I'm gonna kill you all.